Comparing and ordering fractions and decimals. Okay, in order to do this, in order to compare a fraction and a decimal, first you have two choices, okay? The first one is to make all the numbers fractions with common denominators, or you can make all of the numbers decimals. Most students will prefer the decimal route because it's easier than coming up with fractions with common denominators. But I'm going to do both ways here so you can see how they would work. The first one is if I took both of them and made them fractions. Well, the first one it's 1/10. I don't have to do anything with that. The next one is 8/100ths. 8/100ths. This can be reduced then to, let's see, I can divide the top and bottom by 4. And I can get 2/25. Okay? Now, I have 1/10 and 2/25. I need a common denominator, 50. Well, I guess I didn't have to reduce this one all the way. And I could do 50 here, which means I multiply by 5/5. This becomes 5/50. This one becomes 4/50. The minute you have a common denominator, you compare the numerators. This one's bigger, so there's your answer. My other route then, 1/10 and 0.08, is to take this number and convert it to a decimal. And I would do 1 goes in the house and 10 on the outside. Add my decimal, add a 0. 10 goes into 10 once. There's nothing left over. So this becomes 0.1, and I'm comparing to 0.08. Now, when you compare decimals, it's real easy. You go place by place. So I start here in the ones place. They're the same. Then I go to the tenths place. Oop, 1 is bigger, so we know that this number is bigger. That's the way you compare decimals. You just go place by place until you find something that's bigger. Okay? Now, let's try something a little different. Let's order some from least to greatest. All right, when you're ordering from least to greatest, what you guys should realize is that your negative numbers right here, this and this, are always going to be your smallest numbers. Okay? Now, before I can actually compare anything, I need to make them either all decimals or all fractions. So I like the decimal route. If I took 3 divided by 4, this would be equal to 0.75. Then I have a negative 0.4. I have a 0.8. I have 0. 1 divided by 5 would be a 0.2. And then 3 divided by 8, this is negative 0.375. So again, I have two negative numbers in here that are automatically the smallest numbers. And then I have to put those in order. Now here, remember when I told you compare place by place? And we go here and here. When it's negatives, whatever one is the bigger number, so 4 is bigger, that actually is the smallest number though. Very confusing sounding, I know, but the bigger digit actually represents a smaller number. If you were to look on a number line, and it'll make more sense here. Here is 0, and here I would have negative 0.1, negative 0.2, negative 0.3, negative 0.4, and I was to put these on a number line. Negative 0.375 would end up being like right here, and negative 0.4 is actually here. And you know, as we go to the left, the numbers become smaller. If we were going the opposite direction, and I have 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, then when you look at the digits, the larger digit's actually the bigger number. But when you're talking about negatives, the larger digit's actually the smaller number. Make sure you understand that. Rewind this a couple times if you have to so you understand that. So I have negative 0.4 is the smallest, then negative 0.375, and then my next one is just going to be 0 because that's right in the middle of the number line. Not in the middle of all these numbers though. And then what I can do is I compare my next numbers, the positives, digit by digit. I have a 2, I have an 8, and I have a 7. 2 is going to be the smaller of them. Then it will be 0.75, and then the last one, 0.8. That would be in order from least to greatest. Now, one thing that I want you to do is to put them back in the form that was given to you. So this is the same, 0.4. The next one, though, was a negative 3/8. And then it was 0. The 0.2 was actually 1/5. The 0.75 is 3/4. And then the 0.8 was 0.8. Okay, that will be your last step. Okay, these are my last two samples. Which number is closer to 0? Negative 3/4 or 4/3? Explain your reasoning. For a lot of these, you'll be able to look at it and tell which one is closer to 0, but you might not be able to explain it. So one way to explain it is you say, well, I'm going to use a number line. So I'm going to draw myself a number line. And here I'm going to put 0. I'm dealing with small numbers, so my number line is not going to be very large. -1, -2. Okay, first of all, this negative 3/4. If I converted that to a decimal, I like to convert them to decimals when I'm graphing them because it's easier to avoid mistakes when you're doing this. This would be a negative 0.75. When you graph it then, there's no digit out here in the ones place, so it's not going to be past it. It's actually going to end up right here. A negative 3/4 is right here, and I use the original number again that was given to me. The next one, 4/3, is 1 1/3. The 1/3, if you converted it, is 0.3 repeating. So in other words, it's going to be past 1, and how far? About this far, about 1/3 of the way. That's a bad dot. So this is my 4/3. Then we say, which one is closer to 0? Well, this one is closer to 0. And how do you know? I know by looking at my number line. There is my proof. Okay? It's just an easier way to explain it because a lot of times it's not a good way to word this. The next one tells you to use a number line. Using a number line, determine what number is halfway between -3 and 5. So I'll draw my number line. Now my number line needs to go out to 5, so I want to make sure that I do that. I have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Woo, that worked perfect. -1, -2, -3, -4, and -5. So halfway between these two, what I want to do is plot those two. So I have -3. I know the negative doesn't really show there. And then I have 5. And you want to determine what's in the middle, or halfway in between. What I would do is just cross off. So I cross one here, and keep going until you get to the center. Cross, cross. Oh, what's left? 1. So the number halfway in between is 1. Now, occasionally you'll run into something that will be like this. And this is just like an extra little sample to kind of help you here. I'm going to make this 0, 1, 2, and 3. And let's say we were crossing off. We go, and you go, uh-oh, there's no number in the middle. Okay, well, what's directly in the middle of 1 and a 2? It's 1.5. Okay, that's how you would answer it if it ended up like that. Okay, that is all. Goodbye, everybody. See you in school.